Students and viewers, Assalamu alaikum. Hoping that you all would be okay in your respective homes. JK Bose is well set to release the date sheet for classes 10th and 12th shortly. So it is the indication your examination shall be taken in the first week of November or mid-November. So obligatory on your part to prepare yourself well for the coming examinations so that you can fetch a nice percentage of marks. Dear students of class 12th, today we are dealing with very important poem of your textbook, Flamingo textbook, My Mother at 66. Dear students, the title of the poem says, My Mother at 66 represents or says it is age. This poem is written by South Indian poets Kamala Das, and Kamala Das is a champion in presenting the complexities in human relationships. This is the personal poem or bond of love between a daughter and mother. The summary of the poem is like this. One Friday morning, Kamala Das was going from home to Cochin Airport, and in her car beside her mother was sitting, and she looked at mother's face. Her mother, she found her in sleep, slight sleep, doze word has been used there, and open mouth, wrinkles were there on her face, and her face was ashen like that of a corpse, or her face was like a looking like a dead body. So when she looked at her mother's face, full up of wrinkles and no color at her mother's face, she was looking as old as she was. So negative thought develops in her mind that I may lose my mother very soon. So some sort of a anxiety or some sort of a depression or some sort of a pain goes inside her mind. So this pain or this sort of a depression anxiety circulated in her mind that my mother has grown as old as she is looking, and I may lose my mother because there is a love between mother and a daughter. And Kamala Das, after seeing her mother's face, upset her body posture, that he concludes that I may lose my mother. But in order to divert that negative thought, or in order to distract from this, she looked out of the window and find some trees sprouting and some merry children coming out of their homes. So, in order to distract, in order to divert that thought, she looked out of her car and found some trees sprouting. Trees were moving, fresh young trees were moving, and merry children, happy children were coming out of their homes. This she done only to distract the negative thing that was developing in her mind that I may lose my mother. But the contrast has been shown here between two periods of life, one the aging, that mother inside, and the childhood, the married children coming out of their homes. And when she reached airport, and there was a security check, and her mother remained away from her some yards, and once again she looked at her mother's face, and this time her mother's face was compared with the late winter's moon. And when in the late winter time moon rises or moon emerges, it looks like colorless or foggy, and her mother's face or her mother was compared with late winter's moon. And once again, the thought develops, a negative thought develops in her mind that I may lose my mother. And this is the familiar act. This is the that she had because there was some sort of a situation in her childhood when she was about to lose her mother. And once again that familiar ache hit her mind. But the poem ends in hope. She said at the end of the poem, smile, smile, and smile. Amma, soon I see you soon. So it ends in hope that next time when I will be back from my working place, I will see you alive next time. So the poem ends in hope. And there are three types of the poetic devices used in the poem. One is the simile, her face ashen like that of corpse, simile. Mary, children spilling, this is the metaphor. And personification is used there also when human characters are given to the non-living objects or non-human objects. This is the personification. I hope that you got the idea about the poem. The poem is very short, personal poem. It is a bond of love between a daughter and a daughter says how a thought develops in her mind as she is losing her mother. She has grown old when her mother she was traveling with in her car with her mother inside the car when she looked at her mother's face and compared it with a dead body and her face was showing complete old age and a thought developed in her mind that she may lose her mother. In order to distract that thought, divert that thought, she looked out where she found trees spiriting, married children coming up out of their homes. And also, when there was security check at the airport, she remained some yards away from her mother. Once again, her mother was compared by her late winter's moon, but the poem ends in hope. She said, Amma, see you soon, and smile, smile, smile word. She repeated there. That means the poem ends in hope, and three types of poetic devices have been used: simile, metaphor, and personification. Hope you have got an idea about the summary of the poem. In case of any confusion, you may contact me on my number or catch me inside the class physically. We will discuss things to your satisfaction. Thanks. Be balanced.